Good morning, Year 9. Hopefully you have had time to look at that do it now on the board and you've written in the chat bar what you think the following people have in common. And hopefully you have got that those people have all been to KCC and have been incredibly successful within sport and also academic PE, GCSE PE, or the Cambridge National option. It was great to speak to so many of you at your course selection fair last week, and hopefully today I'm going to go through the two courses that we offer at GCSE and look at the similarities and differences to help you make the right decision. The course we're going to look at is GCSE PE. Students who succeed in GCSE PE, there's a strong practical element of GCSE PE, and we feel the students who will succeed in this course are those who are already participating in two activities. This might be at a KCC club or outside of school. You're training and participating. There's a strong link with biology, so if you enjoy and are successful in science, this could definitely be a course for you. And obviously you've got to have a passion in sport, the media, and take a keen interest in what's happening in sport at the moment. And hopefully you will have enjoyed your PE lessons so far and enjoyed doing the knowledge organiser content and those assessments that we've done. So what will I learn? The course is broken down into three elements. Component 1, which is where the science element comes in. It's about the human body and movement and physical activity in sport. That's a written paper worth 30%. Component 2, that's social cultural influences and well-being and physical activity in sport, another 30% and assessed through an exam. And then component 3, which is where your three sports, your practical element, are assessed, as well as a written piece of coursework that we'll talk about a little bit more later. So that's worth 40%. The course is 60% exams, broken down to 2 exams, and 40% is your 3 practical sports. And in red, you can see the assessment areas from paper 1, and in blue, paper 2, and then you've got your practical performance. So things like applied anatomy and physiology, learning about the muscles, bones, cardiovascular system, and there'll be some strong links with the things that you learn in science here. I've put an example question there, so good luck any of you who can give that a go. And then let's talk a little bit about practical. So your practical is worth 30% of your overall qualification. You will do 3 sports, and for those you're assessed in your skills out of 10 marks and your full context out of 15 marks. We will run moderations after school in order to get those marks. We will give you what you think you got, and then that will be sent off to a moderator, and you might be part of a moderation day where someone external from the exam board will come in and assess your levels. You can choose, or you have to choose, a team sport and an individual sport, and then one of the other to make it your third. Those have to be from the approved activity lists, and you can find them on the website, or you can come and speak to your PE teacher. Why study GCSE PE? You'll have a love of sport and physical activity. You will have been successful in science. You participate regularly inside and outside of school. And also the PE sport leisure industry is booming at the moment. There's lots of opportunities to progress into future careers such as coaching, physio, being a full-time athlete, sports psychology, personal trainers. So there's lots of opportunities. Option at GCSE is the Cambridge National Sports Studies course. The students who are going to succeed in this course, they will prefer doing coursework and projects as opposed to exams. They might have a love for sport and know what's happening in sport at the moment, but have less of an interest in human science, human biology. Whilst we do the same amount of practical in lessons, both courses have 5 lessons a fortnight. 2 of those will be practical, 3 of them will be theory. There's much less emphasis on your practical ability, and that will make up much less percentage in your final GCSE mark. The course is broken down into 3 areas, 40%, 20% and another 40%. Only 40% of this course is assessed through an exam at the end of year 11, as opposed to the GCSE, where 60% of that is exam. The first unit you'll study is performance leadership in sports activities. The second is sport and the media, which is another coursework unit, and then you finish off with that exam. And we'll look at those in a little bit more detail now. Performance and leadership in sports activities is the first coursework unit that you're going to do, and within this unit you are assessed practically. In the first section we look at key components of performance. We will do badminton as your practical and another sport. If you have another individual sport that you do outside of school, then you can choose to be assessed in this, but you will need to get video footage. It also needs to be on the approved activity list, which we'll go through in a second. Through doing this, you'll participate in your activity, you'll look at the strengths and weaknesses, you'll make an action plan, a training program to improve. You'll then put together a coaching session and coach your peers, and then you'll review that coaching session and write a report on how you think your practical has improved and how your coaching session went. These are the approved activities that you can do, and again, just like GCSE PE, if you want to come and speak to us, please do so, or they can be found on the OCR website. Second unit you'll take is sport and the media. This is another coursework unit where you'll be putting together a PowerPoint presentation. We'll look at the different sources of media, things like Twitter, Instagram, BBC Sport, and we'll look at the positive and negative impacts the media can have. Things like Ronaldo's interview with Piers Morgan, or the negative impact the media has potentially had on Emma Raducanu's career so far. This is your final unit, and this is the unit you'll sit as an exam at the end of year 11. So we will look at sports' role in promoting values, things like fair play, sport being against racism, and the involvement of LGBT+ communities within sport. We'll also look at the implications of hosting a major tournament. Obviously the World Cup has just been hosted in Qatar, and we'll look at the ethical questions around that tournament being held there. The role of national governing bodies in terms of how we get more people into sport, and the use of technology in sport. Is that a positive thing, or has VAR killed football, the TMO killed rugby? Has technology made sport too easy for certain people? And it's just about who's got the most access to technology. So we'll look at positives and negatives of all of those. Why choose sport studies? So all of those careers that we spoke about in GCSE PE are accessible if you take the sport studies route. You'll have a keen interest in learning about sport, passionate about your individual sport, enjoy creating presentations, and prefer being assessed through coursework as opposed to exams, and like the fact that there's less practical emphasis on your final mark. Key differences between GCSE PE and Cambridge National Sport Studies are here. So in GCSE PE, you're assessed in your performance of 3 sports. In Cambridge National Sport Studies, you're assessed in 2 sports, badminton and one of your choice, but these are worth much less of your final grade. Both have 5 lessons over a fortnight, 2 are practical and 3 are theory. GCSE suits students who also enjoy and are successful in science. In GCSE, you have 2 exams worth 60% of your overall mark. In Cambridge National Sport Studies, there's 1 exam worth 40% of your overall mark. Thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions, please write them in the chat bar through your tutor, or please feel free to come and speak to any one of the PE department, and we'll be able to talk to you further about the courses.